rich and richer on the backs of the American working man and woman. That's why we have 10% unemployment, because we bear the cost of a legal system that simply crushes productivity, innovation, and efficiency. We've got to change that. Number 4, we've got to relentlessly expose, and we have got to mock the left wing in the way that we have learned from the left wing about us. When we are offered the opportunity to hold up to the world Acorn, as Andrew Breitbart and his young filmmakers did.
Because if you tax something less, you will get more of it. And if you tax work and investment and risk, you will get more work, more investment, more risk, more jobs, lower unemployment, and a more prosperous America to regain its standing, not only here at home in terms of our confidence, our spirit, and our morale, but over the rest of the world, where we are making gigantic mistakes and losing our healthcare, in some sense, is the fulcrum of the issue, but not for the reasons that Mr. Obama says. Healthcare has become one of our greatest job creators. There are more jobs in healthcare than there is in the entire manufacturing sector. Do you know that? Do you know in yesterday's jobs report, in yesterday's lousy jobs report, healthcare jobs went up again? It's like an unbelievable industry. So, I say, if we lower the business tax rate for all the great companies in America, we will also be lowering the business tax rate on the healthcare companies. So they will have more incentives to grow, to invest, and to hire. Why is this such a brilliant thing? I didn't make this up. It just should be said. Cut the business tax rate on healthcare companies. Cut it. Cut the tax rate on doctors. Cut the tax rate on doctors, who are in effect small business people. Just cut it. Use a supply-side principle. How about climate change? You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't really believe, first of all, that men and women are the problem. I have this peculiar view, men and women are the solution. But I will say this, if those of you believe in the climate change, climate heating, endangerment argument, if you do, I have a suggestion. Raise the carbon tax, create a carbon sales tax, create it, but legislate, and we can fight for this, that every nickel of revenue that would come from a carbon tax would go to slash marginal tax rates every place else in the economy. Every nickel, not to spend and grow government, but to go to a flat tax of 15%, to lower the payroll tax, to lower sales taxes, to lower business taxes. If you want to do climate change, that's the way to do climate change. I'm not convinced of climate change, but I'm just telling you, look at it from a supply side incentive. Now, I got some other little pet peeves, you know, the housing industry, Look, I love housing. I have a house. I'm all for it. I think it would be nice if government policies would insist that when you buy a home, you put down 20% so you have some skin in the game. Instead of giving it away to those who can't afford it. So now we bankrupted Fannie Mae, we bankrupted Freddie Mae, we're now bankrupting the Federal Housing Association. The FHA is going bankrupt. You know why? There's no down payment. We're just shoveling money, we're doing the exact same thing, we learn nothing. But here, the inflation tax is the inflation tax. And that means the money supply. And that means the Federal Reserve, which in the last 10 or 12 years has been a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. And no matter what the Ivy League PhDs tell you, and I'm a little guilty here because I went there, A strong dollar is not only in our nation's interest globally, it's in your interest and my interest. It allows us to purchase things at lower prices from any place around the world.
Chet and I had to come out and catch the Michigan State game. Things are not going Chetley's way. What now?
And I tell you what, if you guys are radicals, you are the most reasonable radicals I have ever met. And if the Tea Partiers actually want to end the Republic, if they're like terrible revolutionaries who want to bring it into this, it is going to be the most litter-free new country. But let's think about it. What are you asking as free market small government activists? You're asking the federal government, I don't know, maybe hold off on the $3 trillion piece of legislation for the year. Not a whole lot to ask. Maybe when your state gets stimulus money, it should put it to a debt like you would in your own home instead of making brand new debt. Crazy? And what about this? Okay, all right, good. If you're gonna pass $1 trillion bills, how about if you read them first? Now, Beltway publications and a lot of senators actually, and people who are actually elected to vote on these things will tell you that's just a hopelessly naive idea. You see, they have lots of legislation, and it's very complicated, and you need lawyers to read it. The fact that this is hopelessly naive is actually indicative of the problem with them, not us.
So here we are at Americans for Prosperity's Defending the American Dream Summit, and as you can tell, it's a packed house.